Hi everyone, it's Ron Milligan with Remax Select down here in the Pearl District, and I've got the latest market statistics for you. I've got some weekly and I've got some monthly stats. Of course, I've been away for a couple of weeks, back in town and back at it for the end of the year rush that we always get. So for October, these are the statistics that RMLS puts together at the end of the month. So these are the numbers that are for October, so these are looking backwards. And keep in mind that these statistics that RMLS is putting out are only for the Oregon side of the metro area. So they don't include any of the Washington numbers. A couple of the big things here were the average sale price. So comparing the first 10 months of 2020 to the first 10 months of 2022, that number is down to 16.7% increase. It's a lot, and it feels like a lot, but that's coming down from a high of closer to 19%, which we saw in May, which is kind of our strongest month in this year. And what we know from our weekly statistics is that when we're comparing one week to the next week, so the same week in 2020 to the same week in 2021, we're usually seeing a difference in the average sale price of like 10% to maybe 14%. So that number is smaller. It's pulling that average sale price, that month to month, year over year comparison, the year over year comparison of 2020 to 2021, it's pulling that number down. So we're expecting to see that number probably just shy of 16% by the time we hit the end of the year, unless things kind of rally at the end of this year. And there's a possibility for that based on what we see working with our numbers right now with the supply and demand. The other thing that's interesting is in October we got back down, so the inventory decreased to 0.9 months of inventory. That's down from 1.1 in September and 1 month of inventory in August. Again, that's a measure of supply and demand at the current rate of sales. How long would it take to sell all of the active listings on the market given no new listings? So that would take 0.9 months to sell everything. A balanced market, neither buyers nor sellers market, is somewhere between probably 4 to 6 months of inventory. So we're still very heavily in a seller's market territory. Looking at the week-to-week statistics for this last week, we've seen now, we've been talking about how our market turned a corner a couple of months ago, and that's still proving true. For the last 9 weeks straight, the number of active listings has decreased for 9 weeks running now. So our supply is shoring up, is tightening up. At the same time, the demand the last couple, 3-4 weeks has been diminishing compared to what we've been seeing prior to that, but it's still relatively strong compared to the decrease in the supply. And of course, that came out with our inventory in months for October being less than we had seen in the previous 2 months. I suspect that that's going to continue through the winter. There still seems to be pretty good buyer demand out there. Buyer activity showings are still relatively strong. The average days on market has been increasing though. We're at 23 days on market for the average, and 8 days on market is the median. Both of those numbers have been going up. That's compared to 33 for the average last year, 23 compared to 33, and 8 it was the same for the same week in 2020, so that didn't change much. The average sale price, $576,037 compared to the same week last year, $523,458. Keep in mind, this is kind of our informal sampling, and these numbers are for the entire metro area, by the way. That includes Southwest Washington as well. So the difference between those two numbers is about 10%. And we've been seeing that number jump around. It's a smaller sample of homes that we're dealing with, so you can have a couple of sales, big sales, that kind of throw the numbers out of whack. But we've been seeing that number bounce somewhere between 10% and 14%, just again, indicating that the average sale price from last year to this year has been decreasing, the gap between the two. And that's showing that, of course, we're going to probably end up somewhere shy of 16% by the end of the year when we compare the year-to-year difference. Median sale price, 515,000 compared to same week last year, 460,000. The average sale price stayed about the same from previous week to last week. That's 101.16. Median went up from about 101 to 103%. And so they listed the house at a certain price. What did it end up selling for? On average, it's a little higher than the original list price. And then what was interesting is the average sale price as a percentage of the original asking price is down to 99.75. And this is, I think this is only the second week that we've seen that number drop below the 100% mark. So that number has been coming down. So those are the numbers for right now. We will be back. I'll be back next week with the next update. And of course, as always, keep in mind that all real estate is local. And if you have questions about what's going on in your neck of the woods, in your neighborhood, in your zip code, or in your segment of the market, golf course homes, condominiums, townhouses, whatever it happens to be, just let us know and we're happy to share what we can. All right, talk to you next week.